Journalists are always asking me what gives me hope. But the truth is, I do not hope. I love. My first love was and is nature. I was born and brought up in the woods and in the most forested region in Kenya. I have memories of chasing butterflies, gazing at flowers, trees ahead of me, bushes beside me, and running up the hills whenever I would hear trees lashing and crashing against each other. It was this love that got me where I am today, fighting for my forests and wildlife that I grew up with. Back then, I didn't know what was coming. We had frequent rains, and I would sit among the trunks of the trees, watching the rivers and the streams flow by. Coffee was plentiful. Maize, arrowroots, and cassava were all in plenty too. And I remember playing in my grandmother's granary that was always full. She had 14 children, my mom included, and they never went hungry, not even for a single day. They all went to good schools, and many thanks to nature's abundance, there was enough to eat, sell, and even store. I remember planting my first tree when I was 7 years old. I felt part of nature, and I knew that I loved nature enough to protect her and give back. During this time, the late Professor Wangari Maathai was the Member of Parliament in my home region, Tetu, Nyeri. And she was mobilizing women to start up tree nurseries to green the place and also improve their livelihoods. She was my icon, and I always loved all that she ever did. When I watched her win the Nobel Peace Prize in the news, I felt so proud of her, and all I ever wanted was to meet her and plant a tree with her. When I told this to my grandmother, she told me that if you want to meet Wangari Maathai this much, you have to study hard just like she did. Wangari Maathai was the first African woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize and the first in East and Central Africa to earn a doctorate degree. This was my motivation to study. But sadly, she died when I was still in high school, and her death shocked me and hurt me to the core. But even though I never got to meet Wangari Maathai, I still drew so much inspiration from the way she lived her life. Wangari Maathai did what she did because it was the right thing to do, and her guiding light was the story of the hummingbird that teaches us to love instead of hope. The story of the hummingbird is about this huge forest that is being consumed by a fire. And all the animals are feeling overwhelmed and feeling powerless. They are standing there transfixed as they watch their forest burn, except for this tiny little hummingbird that decides that it's going to do something about the fire. So it flies to the nearest stream and picks a drop of water and puts it on the fire. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down as fast as it can. And during this time, all the other animals are standing there powerless. Much bigger animals like the elephant that has a huge trunk that can take much more water. And they are looking at the hummingbird and staring at the hummingbird and asking the hummingbird, what do you think you can do? You are too little. Your beak is too tiny. Your wings are too little. What can you do? The fire is so huge. And this tiny little hummingbird looked at the other animals fast without wasting time and tells the animals, I love this forest and I am doing the best that I can. We are all living the story of the hummingbird right now. Our forests are burning, our house is on fire, and my heart is breaking. My forest landscape and whole network of trees that I played amongst are being destroyed, burned down at alarming rates, faster than you can even snap your fingers. And the waters I used to drink from when I was little are all drying up. They are not flowing in the same fast speed as they used to. The harvests are failing. The granaries are running empty, and there's not even enough to eat, let alone sell or even store. Right now, drought has been declared a national disaster in Kenya, and over 2.1 million Kenyans are facing starvation. I am crying for nature's destruction. I am crying for the hungry children. I am crying because I love them. And I am not standing back like the other animals feeling hopeless. Just like the hummingbird, I am doing the best that I can. I know that our lives depend on nature, and so I am recognizing her rights, fighting for her life, so that we can all once again feel the joy of her abundance. My big vision is to create a generation of environmentally conscious individuals by tapping on the power of nature restoration on the ground. Nature has been helping us for so long, and now it's time for us to help nature. I am working with others to protect those places where nature touches us close to home. We, the Daima Coalition, are standing up to developers to protect the urban green spaces in my city, Nairobi. Our courage comes from love. And to symbolize this, we hang love hearts to trees that have been marked for felling. In the process, we have saved a 100-year-old iconic fig tree and parts of Uhuru Park from being hived off to pave way for the Nairobi Expressway construction. Together with the children, we have grown over 30,000 trees up to maturity, many of them fruit trees. By nourishing their bodies in nature's abundance, the children learn that when we look after the trees look after us. And when you are in love, you want to share that uplifting feeling with everyone. That is why I have been helping children fall in love with nature. For the past 5 years, I have been running Green Generation Initiative. During this time, we have helped 20,000 school children fall in love with nature, and in the process, they've learned how to cherish and protect her. Together with the school children, we have grown over 30,000 tree seedlings to maturity, many of them fruit trees. When the children nourish their bodies in nature's abundance, they understand that when we take care of the trees look after us. As I know from my own lived experience, protecting and restoring nature can awaken that deep bond and remind us of who we are. Nature is asking you to remember who you are and to stay true to it by making sure that our ecosystems stay intact and that we continue to massively regenerate every swath of land that we have degraded. I encourage you to take the hummingbird story and Wangari Maathai's legacy to heart. It makes for a beautiful life. And next time you're asked whether you have hope or not, don't sit back and wonder how it's all going to work out. Just do the best that you can with love.